Alright, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back. It's me, Addy, again, and I hope you guys are doing alright. These past couple of weeks, I played through a new indie game called Cult of the Lamb, and I know what you're about to say. Finally, Addy has managed to get around to playing a new indie game close to its release, and not eons after it. So now that I've had a chance to beat the game and see what it's all about, I'm here to hit you guys with the usual review. So strap on in, and let's get this show on the road. So Cult of the Lamb is a game that beautifully combines the best of the video game genres that I really personally love, those being roguelikes and social life/farming sims. This game has a little bit of DNA from everything. The games that immediately come to mind for me are ones like Hades, Animal Crossing, Stardew Valley, Forager, and Binding of Isaac, I would say. Imagine if you tossed all those games into a blender. This is the result that you'd get. The resulting game is a wholesome soft art experience presented in a really neat pop-up aesthetic similar to Paper Mario. And just like in Animal Crossing, this game features a myriad of adorable creatures who you need to take care of during your playthrough. But there's a dark twist to it all, and don't let the cuteness of this game fool you, for beneath all of this is a very sinister tone. That's right, this game is a very interesting juxtaposition between uplifting and disturbing themes. And that's because this game is about you having to take care of an Animal Crossing-like community, except all of your followers are part of this dark, gloomy cult. A religious cult to which you are the leader, and you are the lamb. This is the Cult of the Lamb. It's actually funny because one of my Twitch viewers described this game with a perfect oxymoron. I think he said something along the lines of this game is delightfully twisted, which I think is so accurate. So the way your cult works in this game is you shape it and mold it into your vision of how it should be. As you recruit new followers into the fold, you'll do all this religious jazz in your community, such as performing sermons, declaring doctrines, and keeping your followers healthy and wealthy. Or dead, because you sacrificed them, or let them die because they were hungry or diseased. I don't know. But it is all up to you, and I think that freedom is great. I personally opted for a No Man Left Behind style playthrough where I focused on keeping all of my followers alive through keeping them healthy and faithful to their beautiful, supreme, glorious leader/deity. That being me, of course. And by resurrecting them every single time they died. It was really fun. And what was even more fun than that, and perhaps the highlight of this game to me, was the fact that there was a way for me to allow my real Twitch followers to join the game and become cultists themselves. That's right, this game features Twitch integration, which I felt was super thoughtful and considerate of developer Massive Monster Games. With Twitch integration, every single time you gain a new cultist, you can invite your Twitch followers to essentially customize them and, in doing so, become them. And the fun doesn't just stop there, for your viewers can also contribute to your cult by helping or hindering its progress through a Twitch extension. And I really appreciated that. See, as someone who's predominantly a single-player gamer, being able to still play a non-multiplayer game whilst adding a layer of interactivity to it with my Twitch chat was something that I loved. And it was just so fun playing through this game, rescuing cultists and turning my Twitch viewers into them, and finally trying to keep everyone alive in the commune. Like I said earlier, no man left behind. Admittedly, that didn't work out too well. There was a day where I had to keep 5 followers alive or I'd gift 5 subs, and I ended up gifting 5 subs. What? Hu Chang? No! What the fuck? What are you doing, Hu Chang? Oh my god, Hu Chang's betraying me? No! Hu Chang, I trusted you. I trusted you with my life. What the fuck? Yeah, that's a story for another day. So taking care of your followers in Cult of the Lamb is done through playing the game like it's a social sim like Stardew Valley or Animal Crossing, where you'll start with a large plot of land to embellish over time. You're going to build structures and decorations for your commune, as well as bolster affinity with your followers, all of which are actions that result in greater devotion from them that then allows you to unlock even more upgrades for your cult. And all of this is just really fun to do. If you wanted to, you could honestly spend about 80% of your time just hanging out in your cult tending to things. You can farm, build, interact, and overall, just chill. All of it is very therapeutic, and it helps that the music in this game is amazing as well. It's like more of this upbeat version of lo-fi, which, by the way, lo-fi is pretty much like my favorite genre of music. So yeah, it was very easy for me to fall in love with this game's soundtrack. So then, what is the other 20% of your gameplay experience if 80% of it is the sim stuff, you ask? and that 20% for me, by the way, was admittedly a little bit higher. So to answer your question, that stuff would go into the roguelike action elements of this game. So this is where Cult of the Lamb becomes less like Animal Crossing and Stardew Valley, and more like Hades and Binding of Isaac. So when you run dry on resources for your cult, or if you want to progress the game's main story, then you'll end up fighting your way through 4 colorful biomes with a plethora of chambers to explore, with dungeon crawling that really reminded me of The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening. And these chambers are going to consist of randomly generated encounters on each run. So sometimes you'll have chambers where you'll fight enemies through a series of rooms, or chambers where you'll have to rescue a cultist and recruit him, or a simple vendor who offers you supplies. And on these runs, you'll be collecting resources like gold, wood, and stone, and when you die, you lose about half of them and start off back in your cult. So pretty basic roguelike stuff there. And these levels come with an assortment of randomly generated weapons and perks to choose from too, all of which you can influence through the upgrades in your cult. And I thought they were all great. The combat was executed wonderfully in this game. It's nothing groundbreaking, but it was satisfying, and the visual aesthetic of the game definitely helped immerse me in it as well. With all the wobbly screen shaking and pop-up meshing together whilst fighting the enemies, the combat felt very visceral. The bosses, I'd like to add, were great too. And I'll be honest, they even got a tiny bit challenging at times, despite me playing this game on medium difficulty. And funnily enough, that's actually something I liked a lot. I've noticed that quite a few games have a bit of difficulty, no pun intended, in scaling up their difficulty through each rung of it. And it seems like they only really get challenging on hard mode, while all the other settings, including medium, are stupidly easy in comparison. But in Cult of the Lamb, I actually appreciate that the game wasn't insanely easy, but not unreasonably difficult either. It was medium, as it should have been. So yeah, the roguelike action in this game is great, and there's a good bit of replay value to it since you can go through previously completed biomes again for even more rewards than before, and to even go further down the chambers. And a very interesting surprise here that I liked a lot is that there's a good bit of strategy and risk reward involved with this. And that's because the longer you're out on a run, the more problems your cult will be facing since everything progresses in real time. Cultists will get sick, hungry, dissent, and you'll lose a bunch of faith from them while you're gone. So you need to strategize your runs around that and consider if the rewards are worth the risk of losing followers back home. I loved that. Ultimately, Cult of the Lamb strikes a solid balance between sim game and roguelike, with how both of them are equally important to your playthrough, and how, over time, your freedom to choose which side of the game you want to interact with more increases. The beauty of Cult of the Lamb is that it fixes a big issue, in my opinion, with 90% of sim games. And that's boredom. Sure, the games themselves are beautiful, and I adore stuff like Animal Crossing, but there's only so much fun you can have doing chores around your camp before things get mundane and you want to turn the game off. I feel like Cult of the Lamb fixes this because as soon as you grow tired of all the sim stuff, you can immediately hop on to the next thing. Getting tired of farming and taking care of the camp all day? Well, good news, the game has combat too, so you can hop over for a roguelike run to throw some action excitement into the mix. It's wonderful. And that's not all there is to do, for Cult of the Lamb features a cute little world map that allows you to zip around to different locations for a collection of really fun minigames like fishing, and my personal favorite, Knucklebones. Now this is a board game I ended up having so much fun with, and that I would absolutely put up there with the likes of Gwent from The Witcher 3 and Fort Condor from Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade. It was simple and addicting to play, and I appreciate how there was incentive to it as well, since all the NPCs in this game give you rewards for completing quests, which you can then use to upgrade your cult or to invest in decorations. And all these little things were just so fun to collect over time. The collectibles give this game a nice bit of replay value, and I can definitely see myself hopping back into it just to take off all the various character skins, decorations, upgrade cards, and more that I'm missing out on. Cult of the Lamb is just such a sweet little game that I'm so glad that I played. It mixes so much of what I love, and there's a little bit of everything for everyone here. So I definitely recommend you give it a go. It does have its downsides, such as the plethora of bugs at the moment that do need some patching, and also a whole lot of visual clutter on the screen when you have a bunch of followers in your camp. And with that last bit said, I do wish that there was a way to more easily manage your followers other than just having to walk up to them and interact with them, which gets so difficult once there's so much going on the screen. And another tiny little pet peeve that irked me was something to do with construction. There were more than a few times I accidentally deleted a structure instead of moving it, which I know was my fault, but I just wish I didn't have to lose all my precious resources that I used to build it. And I just wish that the game had a system where it would stash your buildings instead of outright deleting them, or at the very least, a little thing that confirmed with you before you wanted to delete something. But again, these are all just teensy tiny complaints and do not significantly hinder your ability to have fun with this game, unless you're playing on Switch. My god, I've heard horror stories of the bugs on that port, but I have no doubt that they'll be fixed in patches over time. So guys, I'm giving Cult of the Lamb a nice 8 out of 10. And this would easily go up to a 9 once all the bugs are patched out. Definitely do give it a go, especially if you enjoy sim games or roguelikes. And if you enjoy them both, even better. Thank you for watching this review, you guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please do subscribe. I'd greatly appreciate that. And also drop me a follow on twitch.tv/irritableindian, because that's where all the magic happens. But until the next one, you guys, keep on keeping on.